In Salsk, Rostov Oblast, local residents spotted a strange-looking UFO that allegedly crashed into a locomotive depot. Russia's losses in 2024 surpass 420,000 personnel, Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Syrsky stated. At a year-end meeting, Ukraine's defense leaders reviewed progress in air defense, EW, drones, logistics, mobilization, and more. Syrsky noted that this year alone, Russia paid its highest price since the invasion, over 421,000 killed or wounded. Total Russian losses in the full-scale war now exceed 785,000. Despite challenges, we've held strong, retained key strategic positions, and weakened the enemy's military potential, he added. Ukrainian border guards from the Phoenix Border Guards and Vengeance Brigade repelled a Russian assault near Kurdyumivka, Donetsk region. Results: 3 tanks, including 2 T-72s, and 4 BMPs destroyed using remote mines, heavy vampire bombers, and FPV drones. The Phoenix unit is a specialized reconnaissance and strike force within Ukraine's State Border Guard Service, actively engaged in countering Russian military operations. Operating primarily in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, this unit employs advanced drone technology to conduct surveillance and execute precision strikes against enemy targets. In December 2024, the Phoenix unit achieved significant successes. In Kreminna and Serebryansk forestry operations, they eliminated over a dozen Russian soldiers, destroyed enemy shelters, ammunition depots, and vehicles, thereby diminishing the combat potential of Russian forces in these areas. Russian authorities to keep records of people leaving the country as part of the counter-extremism strategy. Russia has officially become a gigantic jail in which the deep state tracks all your moves. For example, they will track those who have traveled to another country to study. Sports schools and educational projects will also come under suspicion, as the authorities believe extremists may be hiding behind them. Russian barbarians are reusing body bags for corpses after washing them.
A couple of hours after the meeting, after we already handed over these bags, a military fighter, his call sign was, I hope still is, Zaton. I still remember him. He called back, apologized for the fact that we had a not very pleasant conversation, a pleasant talk. He apologized and said, you know, Nastenka, we are just very tired of washing them. Washing the bags. Well, I mean, and they start talking about how they just arrive for the bodies, load them into bags, bring them to the morgue, unload them, then wash them. And they go from the next batch. Naturally, after such an explanation, although I think it already happened before, there couldn't be any dissatisfaction about how anyone talks to whom, about how heavy, great the tension is present there, about how challenging it is for the guys. This is about the bugs. And overall, what is it in general? What is this 11th bug now? In there? Considering that on those front lines, where it is currently possible to evacuate the bodies and remains of the guys who, I've been there for a year, 2 years, I don't know, 2.5, almost 3 already, and ours, and the adversary. Nobody understands, right? Whose DNA is there. And this DNA, they will eventually reach Rostov. Then they will enter the database, and the family, relatives, will finally be able to find out how their guys' lives ended. They might be able to bury them, receive payments, and the guys will no longer be missing.
Noose tightening on Karov for his responsibility in shooting down the Azerbaijani plane. If you unjustly accuse or insult me, trying to damage my honor and dignity, I will not rely on the law to protect myself. Those who disrespect me will receive an appropriate response.
If I am unjustly accused, then try to insult or offend, honor, dignity to Almighty Allah. For me, there are no laws to uphold my honor, dignity, the dignity of my family, people. I will use everything, and I will not leave those who want to be above the honor and dignity of my people, my clan, my family, and my personality. Therefore, I will do everything, and I promise to give you an answer that is worthy.
Russian propagandist Kots argues that Azerbaijani President Aliyev is being disrespectful and has no grounds to demand accountability from Russia over the downed plane, citing Azerbaijan's 2020 downing of a Russian helicopter, which resulted in the deaths of 2 servicemen. Aliyev could have acted more diplomatically. The president of Azerbaijan essentially accused Russia of shooting down a civilian plane over Grozny, and he did so in a rather rude manner. The situation is clear. A tragedy occurred and lives were lost, including Russian citizens, by the way. I don't recall such crass remarks from the Russian leadership when Azerbaijani air defense forces shot down a Russian helicopter, and even celebrated it on video. If the International Commission reaches the corresponding conclusion, of course, an apology is necessary, as is compensation. But it's also worth not forgetting the factors that led to this tragedy, again, assuming air defense involvement is confirmed. These include the attack by Ukrainian drones on civilian infrastructure in the Russian Caucasus, an attack by a country to which Baku secretly supplied ammunition. This reminds me of our tragedy in 2018 in Syria, when a Russian military 11-20 was shot down by friendly fire. 15 of our servicemen were killed. At that time, 4 Israeli F-16s carried out missile strikes in close proximity to the Russian plane as it was landing, effectively using it as cover. Netanyahu, of course, expressed condolences but did not apologize, placing all the blame on the Syrians. Happened in Russia, reason is unknown. Russia is experiencing a strange wave of arsons and attacks targeting post offices, recruitment centers, government buildings, and police cars. These incidents are being blamed on Ukrainian hackers and spam phone calls. Whether this particular event is part of that scheme or driven by other motives remains unclear. Regardless, it reflects the current state of Russian society.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.